The sun scorched Willow Creek, a small farming town where the earth had turned to dust. For weeks, the drought had tightened its grip, leaving fields barren and families rationing every drop. I was Tom Rourke, a third-generation farmer, fighting to keep my crops alive. My only lifeline was a shared irrigation system, a fragile thread of hope for our community. But HOA Karen, the head of the local homeowners association, had other plans. HOA was a force sharp-tongued, impeccably dressed, and wielding her authority like a scepter. She'd moved to Willow Creek 2 years ago, buying up land and imposing rules that choked the town's spirit. Order and fairness, she'd say, but her version of fairness meant control. When the drought hit, she declared the irrigation system inefficient and demanded priority for her sprawling estate's ornamental fountains. We pleaded farmers, families, even old Mrs. Calloway, who relied on her garden for food. HOA didn't budge. One sweltering morning, I woke to silence. The familiar gurgle of water through the pipes was gone. I ran outside, heart pounding, to find the main irrigation line severed. Water poured into the dirt, wasted, while HOA stood nearby, arms crossed, a pair of bolt cutters at her feet. "This is for the greater good," she said, her voice cold. "Your fields are a lost cause." The farmers gathered, their faces a mix of shock and fury. I clenched my fists, feeling the weight of my dying crops, my family's future slipping away. The town erupted. Meetings turned into shouting matches. HOA doubled down, claiming she was saving resources for those who deserved them. But I knew her gameshed been cozying up to developers, eyeing our farmland for luxury condos. Cutting our water wasn't just cruelty. It was strategy. I spent sleepless nights plotting, my anger simmering into something sharper. Then I remembered, I wasn't just a farmer. I ran the state's largest food delivery cooperative, supplying restaurants and markets. HOA's estate, her allies' businesses, they all relied on my contracts. I called an emergency meeting with my cooperative's board. "We're pulling every contract tied to HOA's network," I said. Gasps filled the room. This wasn't just revenge. It was war. My friend Lila, a quiet accountant who'd never spoken up before, hesitated. "Tom, this could ruin innocent people workers, families." Her words stung, but I was too far gone. "They stood by her," I snapped. "They're complicit." Lila's eyes darkened, but she nodded. The vote passed. Within days, restaurants and markets linked to HOA's allies were cut off. Deliveries stopped. Shelves emptied. The economic ripple hit hard. Waiters lost tips, suppliers scrambled, and HOA's pristine image cracked. She stormed into my office, her face flushed. "You're destroying lives," she screamed. I leaned back, calm. "You cut our water. You starved us first." She froze, realizing her miscalculation. But then came the twist. Lila, my soft-spoken friend, had been working behind the scenes. She'd secretly rallied the town's youth kids who'd grown up on these farms, tech-savvy and fed up. They launched a social media campaign, exposing HOA's water grab with drone footage of her fountains gushing while our fields died. The hashtag HOAThirsty went viral. News outlets picked it up, and soon the state water board was investigating. Lila hadn't just supported me. She'd outmaneuvered us all, turning our personal feud into a public reckoning. The fallout was brutal. HOA's empire crumbled. Her developer friends pulled out. Her estate became a pariah. But victory tasted bitter. My cooperative's boycott had gone too far. Small businesses, unconnected to HOA, suffered. Families I'd known for years glared at me in the market. Lila's campaign had saved my farm, but my retaliation had fractured the town. One night, I found a note slipped under my door. "You're no better than her." It was unsigned, but the handwriting looked like Mrs. Calloway's. I drove to the irrigation site, now repaired but scarred. The fields were greening again, but the community was broken. HOA had vanished, her estate foreclosed, but the damage lingered. I'd won, but at what cost? My fight for justice had mirrored HOA's selfishness, leaving me to question where righteousness ended and vengeance began. Sitting on my porch, I watched the sunset bleed across the sky. Lila joined me, her quiet strength a reminder of what we'd gained and lost. "We did what we had to," she said, but her voice wavered. I nodded, unsure. The drought had tested us, and while we'd survived, the cracks in our town ran deep. What do you think? Where does justice end and revenge begin? Share your thoughts on this clash of right and wrong.